Hi everybody from an absolutely stunning day here in Central Portugal. It's late afternoon and as you can see I'm not wearing a hat or a scarf or a winter coat and it's really beautiful, and that's a contrast to what it's been like the past week. And I haven't really been working so hard, not as hard as usual, because it's the Christmas season and I've been spending a lot of time with friends and just socializing, having fun, helping Sinead a little bit more, and trying to figure out some stuff like a broken chainsaw, firewood delivery, and of course Sinead's sister and niece have arrived. And there's lots of festive cheer to share in this video, including a trip to Penamacor, which is known as the Christmas village here in Portugal, for a wonderful celebration, and then the polytunnel, which I'm calling the party tunnel now, gets fired up and we have a lovely Christmas Eve party there, spend Christmas with friends, I do some repotting, and I also, at the end of the video, finally talk about my plans for my bathroom sink. I haven't started work on that just yet because I need a few more things in town, but I have some big ideas and I'm going to walk you through everything at the end of the video so that you're hopefully as excited as I am when my next video, my first video in the new year, rolls out. And it's going to be all about getting that sink into place and doing a few more small carpentry projects as well. So there's a lot to share in this one. It's really fun. There's lots of festivities, some different stuff than usual, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you again at the end of the video. Hello from inside a cloud. It's cold, it's rainy, it's miserable. I'm not bringing in too much solar power, but hopefully I'm pretty charged from yesterday. I'm going to try to be sparing with it today. One thing I haven't been so sparing with is my firewood. And as you can see, I'm all out. So I'm going to have to address that today. Because while it's quite cold outside, it's somehow even colder inside the house. And I need to get a fire going. Unfortunately, I think the chainsaw has a problem, so I haven't used it in a while. I'm not sure if it just needs a new blade or not. Sinead's given it a clean, but apparently it's not cutting very well, so I haven't tried it. I'm gonna go down and give it a try, and hopefully I can just change the chain and use it to get cutting some firewood, because the two of us have planned very poorly, and I'm completely out up at my place of firewood, and Sinead only has pieces of wood that are way too big for either of our burners. So this is a problem that we definitely need to solve, because it's gonna be below zero in the coming days, and we're both pretty wimpy when it comes to the cold weather. So Sinead's sister Dee and her niece Clodagh are on their way. I think they'll be here in a few hours. And I would also, in addition to fixing this chainsaw and getting some firewood cut, love to tidy up just a few more things around the place. I'd like to get those out of the way, and I'd really like to finish off the door of the bathroom as well, which I started working on yesterday, and that's going to involve a little more router work, and then, yeah, cleaning up all the mess I made inside. But if I can get this tidied up and get a lock on both sides, one on the outside to keep it closed for the wind, and one on the inside for privacy, I will be really happy. But the first order of the day is sorting out the chainsaw and getting some firewood cut. So I don't hate cutting firewood, but I just hate cutting it when I need it. It always seems to be that I leave it to the last minute, as with now, and then when I need the wood, I never have the wood, and I can never be bothered to cut it, or it's raining or something. So I got a delivery from a guy who cut it all to the right size. And that's definitely the way forward. But the wood that we have left is actually from last year, and it's super big, and it needs to be chopped in half to fit in anyone's wood burner. I can't imagine a wood burner that would actually fit this, the wood that we have. So it's all in the back of the polytunnel over there, and I'm hoping that once I change this blade, which I don't think has been changed in a while, that's gonna allow us to actually chop this stuff. So I wish my blade sharpening skills were better. I have had a friend give me a lesson in it, and I guess I've never really tried to do it myself. I sort of just buy blades as needed. They're about 10 euros, and the idea of, I don't know, sharpening one of these, even though I've been shown, it seems really tricky, and I've kind of forgotten now. So we have a few more blades before I maybe have to actually look into relearning how to sharpen stuff. But for the moment, I'm hoping just swapping it out for a brand new one will be fine. So I'm crossing my fingers here, because if this doesn't work, we're going to be either chopping this wood by hand or possibly with a circular saw. Luckily, from what I remember, I don't think changing the blade is too difficult, though I haven't done it in quite a while. That should just basically loosen everything up, and actually it doesn't loosen everything up, it should move the blade back and forth, and then when the blade moves this way, that's when things get loose and the chain should just come right off. So it looks like it's snookered. I don't know what's up, I don't know what happened to it, but it's not a problem that I can solve today, so for the moment I'm gonna go work on the door and we'll deal with this another time. Actually, I take it back, I wiggled things around a bit, and as I turn this, now that this is off, I can see this moving back and forth. So we have some hope. Let's see if I can get this to work. It seems a little jiggly and weird and broken, but perhaps it's not. Perhaps I just don't remember exactly how to do this, which is a thing that happens. So let's see if I can get this blade on, and I'll see you soon, hopefully with a working chainsaw. Okay, the new blade is on, all shiny and sharp looking. I've topped up the oil. Let's see if this works. So that's great. I'm very happy that worked. Initially the chainsaw wasn't working at all, and I think it was because it was gummed up in the interior. So once Sinead cleared that out, that worked, and then it wasn't cutting, and once the blade was changed, that worked. So it wasn't really a problem, it was more of a lack of tool maintenance. So a nice reminder for us to stay on top of that stuff and to keep our tools happy. But it was a simple fix, and now I'm gonna get through some firewood and possibly do a wheelbarrow load to get us through the next few days, and then come back at this a bit later when I have more time. But before I get into this, check out the size of this thing. I don't know what sort of wood burner people have that this fits into, but this seems to be the standard size that comes in firewood loads, and for us it definitely requires chopping. So I found a guy that does the wood much smaller, and though I do enjoy chopping firewood when I'm not absolutely pressed for time, it is nice to have wood to the correct size and to cut that job completely off the list for the winter. So hopefully I can make a little stockpile today. Okay, maybe it is a bigger problem than I anticipated. It doesn't seem to want to get going. So, I don't know. Well, that's disappointing. So I spoke too soon. It looks like this thing doesn't want to go after all. So I don't know if I'll take it apart and see what I can come up with later. Maybe there's a few other things I can try. I don't know. Look online. But yeah. If anyone's seen a chainsaw do this before, let's check the battery. Battery's fine. So I'm out of ideas. So if anybody knows what a chainsaw that does this needs in its life, please chime in the comments. But for the moment, I feel like I'm gonna go back and work on the door and then return to this a little later on today and see what I can come up with. So yeah, that's annoying. I got a couple pieces of wood chop, so there's that, but I was really hoping for some more. So anyway, let's go to the door and see if I can make better progress on that. So the door, upon further inspection from the top of the ladder, is actually closing fine at the top. I thought it was getting hung up down there. It's okay. It's actually getting stuck on this piece here. I need to take off quite a bit more, and I'm going to need to do it with a chisel because I don't have any way of attaching a guide for the router on that side, and on this side the router bit isn't deep enough to take it all off. So this might take a while, but luckily I do love to chisel. down. Oh, that piece is stubborn, needs more chiseling. So this is gonna take a little while, and I'm racing to get this done before Sinead gets back in about an hour with her family. So I'm just gonna get on with things and show you, hopefully, a result very soon. So things are looking pretty crazy still, and I don't think I've solved my problem. I actually feel like a little bit more has to come out here. It's been difficult to see what's going on with the door because I didn't have a handle on the inside, but now I have this handy dandy screw. And yeah, you can kind of see that maybe it's a bit tight there, maybe it's a bit tight there, and the rest seems to be pretty okay. There is also the definite chance that I've just managed to make a squinty door, but in the wise words of Sinead from a couple videos ago, a good carpenter always blames the previous carpenter, so I'm gonna blame this one on the building. And the important thing is here is that we have blame. So I'm gonna keep at it because this has turned into kind of a fun challenge. I'm sort of mystified, but if I keep shaving off a little bit more and a little bit more, hopefully I don't shave the whole building away, but I think I'm close. I'm almost there, and yeah, I wanna have a closing door. I wanna have a door with a lock on it for when she gets back. And I think I have about 45 minutes until she gets back, so the pressure is on now. Let's see if I can get this job done or if it's gonna be another disappointment like the chainsaw. Okay, it's not perfect and it needs more work for sure, but it's not so splintery anymore because I spent a little bit of time sanding it, even though it still does look crazy. I put that trim on before, so that's good. Everything needs to be stained. This part over here could definitely use some sort of a trim on it to close that gap a little bit more. I possibly should have moved all of this tongue and groove over a bit, but this is my first door, so lessons have been learned. And I wanted to put a little snib thing on the inside to be able to lock it, similar to this one that I've added there, but it's not really gonna work because of how it fastens on. So I think I need some kind of a hook attachment instead of this little guy here. But I'm really happy with what I got done. The door closes to a decent standard. And yeah, it locks closed from the outside to prevent it from blowing around in the wind. So this was definitely a bit of a rush job, but miraculously I didn't manage to screw anything up. I would have liked to have shown you a bit more of the work, but like I said, I was in a hurry. And filming and working is quite time consuming. So I'm really pleased with it. I love the door. It's my first ever door and it's inspired me to definitely try to make more doors in the future. I've learned some lessons. It still needs a handle, it still needs a lock on the inside and a handle on the inside as well. But overall, I think it's looking pretty sexy. So I'm gonna take all these tools up to mine, put them back in their rightful place, tidy Sinead's up a little bit, and yeah, just take it easy because I feel like I've been working pretty hard this week. It's Christmas in a couple days, and it's definitely time for some festivities. So here's the finished door from the outside without a handle. Here's the inside. Once again, here's Sinead's very sexy bathroom with running hot water in the shower, and it's been a wonderful project, but I think now it's time for some festivities. So this little guy is sitting here enjoying the fire, which is kind of unusual. He doesn't usually sit here, so it must be pretty chilly outside. And I have been also hiding inside in the warmth and enjoying it. But there's a lot of stuff to do, starting with this massive pile of firewood that has been delivered right behind my car. And I need to get a new gas bottle for the shower. And I can't do that until I move this huge load of wood. But before I somewhat reluctantly get back into the work, I just wanted to recap on the Christmas festivities. We went to Penamacor on the 23rd, where they lit the whole village up. They have a huge bonfire, and they had an amazing gospel choir playing, and it really was wonderful to see. And then the partytunnel was definitely a hit. It's great, and I really hope it becomes a venue for a few more events in the future. And then Christmas, we had a wonderful dinner at some friend's place. They started the festivities by jumping in the pool, which was pretty insane because it was quite cold. I did it last year, but there was no chance I was going back in there this year. But fair play to those guys for doing that. And then we had a lovely shared meal together with about, I think, 10 or 12 of us, and yeah, it was just a really great way to spend the holidays with friends. So thanks Bex and Elle for hosting, and for everybody else that was there, and I hope everyone out there had a fabulous Christmas as well. And then of course Sinead's sister and her niece were here, and we finished off their trip with a lovely drive up to the Gardenias, where they have a glamping site and a beautiful view. And then we tried to get to Serra d'Estrelas, but we went down some sketchy road and couldn't make it, so instead we just had a nice little dinner and stopped at a viewpoint on the way down from our failed mission up the mountain. But now it's all about dealing with this firewood. But before I do that, I'm going to do something with this soil because I have some exciting news to share in my windowsill. And that's these fabulous little seedling babies that have been growing in my windowsill probably for a couple weeks now, maybe even longer. And they definitely need to be planted. The coriander took quite a while to germinate. That's only come up in the past few days. And the kale has been growing for quite a while and definitely needs to be repotted because it's getting pretty spindly. So my first job for the day is to get these into some pots. And I'm hoping this won't take too long. I definitely need to give these guys some attention. The kale, yeah, it's not looking so happy. I guess I was kind of sort of surprised when everything sprung to life, especially the coriander, because as I mentioned a minute ago, I've never really successfully grown it, so I'm not really sure what to do now that I've germinated stuff, whether I should keep things in the windowsill or whether I should make a little spot in the polytunnel. I just don't know, so maybe I'll do a combination of both and yeah, use it as a sort of experiment. And so while I spend a bit of time repotting these plant babies, I thought it might be a good moment to, yeah, just give a bit of thanks. I feel really lucky to live this lifestyle. I feel very fortunate to have a wonderful community around me, supportive parents, and yeah, a group of people that just enjoy seeing what I'm up to. I feel incredibly, incredibly fortunate. And you know, there's jobs that I don't want to do, like moving the firewood, but I feel really happy that I have firewood. I have a warm place to stay, and it's just been another fabulous year of creativity, pushing things forward, making connections with some new friends. Yeah, and just enjoying learning a lot of stuff from people in the comments who watch my videos. So another big thanks to everybody out there. I get a lot back from you guys, in addition to, you know, having a business on YouTube. So yeah. Thanks. It's been a great year for me. I hope everybody out there is having a good year as well. And I think it's just important sometimes to stop and realize how lucky I am to live here. We've got a beautiful day today. I love the weather. I love the people in Portugal. I love the culture. My #1 priority for the new year is learning Portuguese. It has to happen this year. It's embarrassing how little I speak for how long I've been here. So that's going to become a priority. Although right now I think my #1 priority is trying to get these things out without actually ripping them apart. So I'm going to go find a tool that's going to make this job a lot easier, and I'll do it all off camera. But I just wanted to say thanks, Happy New Year, and yeah, I hope everyone is doing well out there, and I'll see you again when these things have little pots to live in. So I've got the coriander and the kale repotted. Come on, stand up, little guys. I've sort of doubled up on some of them. I don't know if that's the way to grow them, or if you're supposed to stick with one single plant. But let's give it a try. I have some more in the windowsill. I've got a few kales in there and a few corianders to see how they all act and what happens to them. And then over here I have a few experimental things outside. So that's a kale and the rest is coriander. And I'm just going to compare to see what happens. But right now, my mission is going to be to use the wheelbarrow to move this massive pile of wood into the polytunnel where I've created a bit of space. But I'm going to get on with that off camera, because how much wood can you really watch a person move? I feel like I've shown it quite a bit over the years on this channel, and I do often wonder what the fine line is between being too repetitive and being interesting. So for anyone out there who's really into watching people move firewood, I apologize, but this is going to happen off camera. Something that's a lot more interesting, I think, is showing you guys my plans for the bathroom sink and the counter area underneath, because I've been talking about it for a while, and I think I have a pretty creative idea, and it's going to be my very first job in the new year. I haven't done it yet because I need to go to town and get a few more things, but I feel like I can walk you through and hopefully get you excited for this project when the new year comes around, because I'm really excited to get this thing finished off. So welcome to the little tour of my bathroom area, where I'm going to go over a bunch of stuff and try to walk you through my plans. First thing to notice is that I have my towel hanging sort of in my clothing area, which I'm not going to show you because it's total chaos. And that's because I don't really have anywhere else to hang it that's decent. I don't want to put hooks here because I don't want wet towels against the clay, at least not until I waterproof it a bit more. And I don't really have anywhere else to put it. Eventually I'm going to wall this off and possibly turn this little area into a medicine cabinet sort of thing. I'm not really sure yet, but it doesn't really work for towels. It would be dripping on the counter. And so I think my idea for a door is to do some sort of a inward opening door that has hooks on the actual door itself for my towels. So I think that's the best solution going. I don't know if I have enough space to actually have a full door, so maybe it's going to be a double door operation. And it's not going to go the full height of the space. It's going to be have a space at the bottom and have a space at the top, and I'm probably going to do some kind of cool design, maybe some sort of Western double swingy door type thing. So the main things for the sink that I have to figure out are how to actually do the taps, which I've pretty much figured out already. Underneath here I have everything ready to screw in, so this all works okay. It doesn't leak. I just have to figure out whether the taps will leak after I install everything, but I've done plenty of taps in the past, so it should be fine. This hole here, I think it's quite dark in here, sorry, is the exit. So that goes out of the house and down into my gray water further down the land, and that can be as easy as just putting a funnel in or a pipe in and catching the water and not actually connecting stuff, or I can connect everything to be pretty solidly attached in one piece. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. It sort of depends on where the drain ends up. Underneath here is going to be storage, and I'm probably not going to curtain it off. I think I'll probably just leave it open and maybe get some nice baskets or something and store stuff underneath, like towels and the usual bathroom stuff. And then up here, this will just be storage for, you know, toothbrushes and stuff like that. And what else have I got to show you back here? I'm going to get some more clay from friends, clay this whole space, and make a nice wall with a mirror on it. I'm going to have some kind of lights coming from above. And if we're looking far into the future, eventually I'm hoping to have a skylight up here as well. Inside the shower, it's pretty much done. I'm going to leave this probably as it is, but eventually I'm going to try to do a Tadillac finish on the shower so that it's waterproof and so it's more easy to clean. So that's going to be a big project that hopefully I can get the help of Sinead with, and my friend Barbara, who's really good with Tadillac. And then, as I mentioned briefly, I'm going to try to waterproof this with a layer of some kind of a clay plaster that I possibly burnish to make it more water resistant and more strong. But the more interesting part is the sink and also the tap. So I don't exactly know what this piece is or where it's supposed to go, but it basically somehow attaches to the bottom of the tap. and I need to get the tap clear of the sink. So the tap isn't actually very deep, so if I put it right on the counter, it's kind of just going to sit right here. And my idea is to get some sort of cool branch, I guess sort of a trunky kind of piece of wood, fairly thick, and have that sitting up and then put the tap on that, so I have kind of a cool wood finish for that. And then I'll possibly also use wood maybe to hold some lights from, make it nice and artistic. There'll definitely be some kind of a wood frame around my window, and perhaps also here I'll do something that ties all that wood in together. This is hopefully as easy as just sticking it in and drilling a hole. I don't know yet. And I also need to figure out whether installing a stone sink is as easy as plopping it onto the counter, or I'm guessing I probably have to find something that's going to seal it all off so that the water doesn't want to run underneath. I decided to go for a sink that doesn't have a massive bowl type angle because I didn't want stuff to get stuck under there, and I feel like this is going to be easier to clean and to seal off. But the part that I find a little bit more interesting and more creative is what I'm going to do underneath. It involves these weird things that I made a while ago. I don't know which one goes where. I think it flips around. Yeah, it goes the other way. And so these, oh, who knows? It's hard to do this with one hand. So let's see if I can get this in. Come on. Oh, this is proving more difficult. Okay, so I've got this one here, and it matches up with the same shape as down here, or it will once I fiddle around a bit more. And I'm basically going to have another one up here, and these are going to be two doors that open and close, and I'm going to take some strips of wood and make the whole thing look like it is one piece, I guess. It's going to be tricky with the curves, but I think I actually have to get the wood to show you what I mean. So here we go. This is wood that you buy in the sort of nice section of the store. It's already been squared off and planed, and it's pretty nice and also quite expensive. So the idea is to either take this size of wood or maybe something a bit bigger and run the whole thing across so that when you look at this thing, it doesn't look like there's any gaps in it, but I'm going to have it configured in a way that I can then open and close certain sections, and it's going to look like it isn't actually a door. So I think those are all of my plans. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of creativity. I'm not exactly sure yet how I'm going to pull everything off, but I'm definitely excited to get to work on it. And while I'm on the topic of creative carpentry, I'm also going to work on closing this off in the same style as I've done the bottom of the door. So that's going to be super finicky, but it's the types of small cuts and joins and things that I love to do. And also, to keep my dad happy, I'm going to finally put a frame around this and a little window that opens and closes. And he's been talking about this ugly window for a long time, so I'm sure that's something he'll appreciate, and hopefully it's something that's fun to work on and just improves the look of my house. And then, of course, there's the tool shed. Guys, the wood has been ordered. I'm going to chase this guy pretty seriously in January to get this wood here. He keeps kind of agreeing to bring it, and then I either spend the money that I had saved for it or I just get to work on something else. So the wood is going to be coming hopefully in January, and this tool shed is going to be the next big project that I start to work on. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap things up there. I really hope you enjoyed the video. It's a shorter one than usual because, as I mentioned at the beginning, I haven't been doing quite as much work as I would normally do in a week, but it's been nice to relax, spend time with friends, and enjoy the holiday season. But I'll be back at it in full force in January, and I hope you're as excited as I am about this sink because I think it's going to be a really fun project with lots of challenges and some artistic touches that I think are going to be fun to work on. So I hope everybody has a wonderful new year. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And for everybody out there who gave me a little bit of extra stuff over the Christmas holidays, like bought something off my Amazon wish list, or joined Patreon, or sent a donation through PayPal or Super Thanks, a big thank you to you guys out there. And as always, thanks to everybody who watches all my videos, comments, gives them likes and everything like that as well. So, Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and I'll see you again in January.